everyone. This is Max Aguilar. I am a hypnotherapist, and today I want to talk about hypnotherapy, what it is that you can expect, what it is, and all the things that are surrounded. There's a lot of misconception about hypnotherapy, and I want to clear all that up. So welcome, and let's get started. Okay, so first of all, I want to talk about the trance state and the subconscious. And I want to first start by saying that trance is not a really good word. It's more just basically a state of being. Trance really is a defined state of being where you're focused in a certain area. So for example, when you're watching Netflix, you are in a trance watching your television. That is a zone that you're in. It's a trance state. When you eat lunch, you're in a trance state. When you're, going to your car wash or you're talking to your boss, all these are different states of being. So what the hypnotherapist will do is will put you in a very relaxed state of being or trance so that your conscious mind can wander and relax while the hypnotherapist can speak to you, your subconscious mind directly. Subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is always active, it's always listening, and it's always open for suggestion. And the issue with that is that you go out in the world and you may have all this negative input, all this positive input, all this input coming into your mind, and your subconscious mind is responding to a lot of this stuff. And if there's a lot of energy or a lot of fear in something or a lot of joy into something, your subconscious mind will take those things into consideration as it shapes your program, your internal program. So your subconscious mind sometimes makes mistakes and creates programs that are harmful to you. For example, in my personal experience, I had a program that I was very afraid of authority, which made it impossible for me to move up in my career. I had a career in healthcare, and I was afraid of, I used to work with physicians. I was scared to death of them. I was scared to death of my boss. I was scared. So I couldn't move beyond that because of my fear. So I had a hypnotherapist work on that for me. And what she did is she relaxed me, talked to me for it was a 2-hour session. Normally they're an hour, but I was in San Francisco at the time. And she reverted me to a really happy childhood moment, and she connected me to that happy child that was inside of me, and she circumvented the main issue that caused my fear. She just circumvented it. She said, I don't want to know anything about that, but I do want you to connect with that little happy child and bring that happy child into today's timeline. In other words, let that little child grow up without that fear. And what happened was, over time, and it was about a 6-month period, I started having less and less fear. And before you know it, I was working with neurologists, I was working with rheumatologists, all these doctors. I was helping my boss's plan, our company. All these things happened because of one hypnosis session. Completely changed my life. And one of the reasons I had such a great experience working with neurology in Houston, and I worked with some patients, neurology patients in Houston on pain, was because of that. I never would have been able to pull that off otherwise. I want to address the other thing, I guess the elephant in the room, and that is the stage hypnosis hypnotist situation, where you have a hypnotist who may or may not be a hypnotherapist, but the hypnotist knows how to hypnotize people. And the hypnotist is on stage and is having a show, and usually it's a comedy show, and asks for volunteers, and people go on stage, and then they do all this crazy stuff. Well, let me explain to you how that works. First of all, the subconscious mind would never allow anybody to tell you to act like a chicken if you didn't want to act like a chicken. The subconscious mind is not open to that kind of suggestion unless you allow that kind of suggestion to be done. In other words, you have to consciously make a contract with the person who's asking you to act like a chicken. You have to go into a hypnotherapist's office and say, I want you to be able to make me perform in front of my friends and act like a chicken. Okay? So what a and even at that point, because there's not a big audience, the stigma of performance may not work. You know, it may not work. But when you're in front of a larger audience and people are laughing and they're ready to be entertained, there are people in that audience that want to perform. They want to get on that stage and they want to perform. They think it's funny and they think they're the fun-loving people. And so they raise their hand. And as soon as they raise their hand, they're making that contract with the hypnotist. It's a silent contract. They're saying, hey, I want to go on stage and perform with you and I want to entertain. And the hypnotist says, well, come on up. The hypnotist usually gets more than one person, usually gets several people, because by getting several people, the hypnotist has more people to choose from. And what he or she'll do is they'll put those people in a trance and then choose which ones are actually going to perform for him or her. So in other words, if you're not a good hypnotherapy or hypnotic patient, then you get to go back to the audience. And you'll always see that most of the time they'll be sending a couple of people back, maybe half the people back. Depends on what size batch they got. If they've got a large amount of people and only a few really good people to be hypnotized, they're not going to keep anybody on the stage that's not going to participate. And so that's how that works. I can't do that to you in my clinic. I can't just go, you will act like a chicken when you get home. I can't do that. Not unless you make that contract with me. And who in the world is going to do that? And I am not interested in doing that. That is not my gig. Anyway, so that I'm hoping helps allay some of the myths about hypnosis, hypnotherapy. There are so many more videos that I plan on making on this subject because hypnotherapy is a very deep and powerful thing, and it could just go on. I could go on talking about it for hours. Now, how will hypnosis work for you if you decide to do this? It depends on what you're asking for. If you're looking for stop smoking, you're probably, if you're serious about stopping smoking and you just need that extra push to make it happen, hypnotherapy is exactly what you need. You can come in the office and it'll be one session, then a follow-up session, and boom, you're done. If you need a profound change in your life, you can get some pretty quick results in the beginning, but it'll take time for the whole thing to work for you. And it's kind of a sad thing for us hypnotherapists who work on our clients who don't get results for 6 months, and in 6 months from now they forget they even did hypnotherapy, or also think, oh, this happened naturally. This had nothing to do with that hypnotherapy therapist that I went. Or else they'll try some other thing that they think might be helpful, and they'll go, oh my God, I went to a seminar, it changed my life. They forgot about the hypnotherapist that helped them 6 months ago, and it took that long to fix. But I'll tell you what, you can go to a therapist's office and sit down for 6 months or a year and talk and talk and talk and get a little bit of results. With hypnotherapy, you can get profound change and permanent change that can go on well within the 6 months and a year. And you can just do 1 or 2 sessions and you're done. That is to say, I am not a therapist, and I don't claim to be a therapist, and I will not do therapy. But what I can do is I can, like my great hypnotist did for me, hypnotherapist from San Francisco. She's a teacher. She was a teacher at my college. She was able to make a profound change in me without working like a therapist on that time and making me go to re-experience my trauma and that kind of stuff. We don't do that. We don't need to do that. What we can do is we can go around that trauma. We can go and work on other things that will eventually switch that trauma around for you. Now, there's some things that may be too deep that, you're better off with a therapist, with a psychotherapist. But I can't, because I can't do that. I'm not qualified to do that. But for the most part, a lot of stuff, if you need some change, if you need some confidence, if you need anything like that, if you're in fear of something, come talk to me or give me a call, and maybe I can tell you, you're a perfect subject for hypnosis. This can be solved very quickly. I'm a graduate of the Berklee College of Music, where I learned how to do music production and write music. And I have a recording studio. So I can record custom MP3s for you, customized just for you, recorded in my studio, so that you don't have to come into the office. Think about that. That's pretty powerful. And that recording you can listen to again and again and again. And it's not a cheesy little recording. I've got state-of-the-art equipment, and it is, you'll have really nice music in the background, and some inductions that I've created that I think would be very powerful. And then whatever it is that's personal to you, after we talk and after our evaluation, I can put those into that recording so that those changes can be specifically for you. It'll be very powerful. Anyway, thank you. That's all that I have today. Click the subscribe button. Please click like on the video. You can find me on YouTube or on Rumble for right now, and I may be expanding to different platforms. So we'll talk to you soon.